For the past couple of weeks, I've been reading and hearing all kinds of takes about the Supergirl movie. Some people blame the director, others point to studio interference, and of course there's the usual argument about superhero fatigue. But I think everyone has overlooked the biggest problem of them all, the script. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you put behind the camera. You could hire the best director in the world, assemble the perfect cast, and bring in the best crew Hollywood has to offer. If the foundation of the movie is weak, the final product is almost always going to be weak. And that's exactly what happened here. It doesn't take a genius to come to that conclusion. Now, what makes this even more worrying is something James Gunn himself reportedly said. He called this the best script he'd seen. If that's actually true, then I think it raises serious questions about the future of DC Studios. Because if this is the standard we're aiming for, what does that say about the movies still to come? As much as I don't really want to admit it, this whole situation also makes James Gunn look a little bit like a one-trick pony. When he's working with a group of misfit characters like the Guardians or the Suicide Squad, he's in his comfort zone. That's where he shines. But outside of that, I'm not so sure anymore. Some people will say, well, Gunn didn't write or direct Supergirl. And that's true. But the movie felt so unmistakably James Gunn that you could have convinced me he did. The tone, the humor, the character interactions, it all had his fingerprints all over it. Another issue is Gunn's habit of giving opportunities to the same circle of collaborators. Normally, there's nothing wrong with trusting people you've worked with before. But eventually, you have to ask whether loyalty is getting in the way of quality. At some point, it starts feeling less like building the best creative team and more like career suicide. As for Ana Nogueira, I honestly think this should have been her last writing assignment for DC, at least for now. But from what we're hearing, she's attached to even more projects. If that's true, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence in where this franchise is heading. And here's the thing I just can't understand. When you're adapting a comic book, half the work is already done for you. The story exists. The characters exist. The emotional beats are already there. In many cases, you practically have a storyboard sitting in front of you. Your job is to adapt it into a screenplay that worked for film. So how do you get this wrong? Nobody was expecting Supergirl to become a billion-dollar blockbuster. Most people just wanted a solid movie. Instead, we got whatever this was. And then there's the whole dog subplot. It honestly felt like someone watched John Wick, saw that audiences loved a dog motivating the story, and thought, let's do something similar. Except instead of feeling emotional or meaningful, it just felt forced. It never really worked for me. The more I think about it, the harder it is to find something this movie actually got right. Even releasing it as only the second movie in this new DC universe now feels like a strange decision. You'd think you'd want to build confidence in the franchise before taking a swing with something like this. Instead, it feels like they put themselves on the back foot almost immediately. Of course, people will say things can still improve. Maybe they can. But if the reports about the future slate are accurate, I'm not convinced they will. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Man of Tomorrow ends up being the final movie from this version of DC Studios before someone else eventually takes over. But that's just my opinion. We'll be here covering everything that happens, every announcement, every rumor, and every new release. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the script was the real problem with Supergirl? Or do you think something else is to blame? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.